Right, it's 11:31, certainly here in Adelaide anyway, and I know that many of you are dialing in from other states. This is our second masterclass of this type via webinar. We have had one previously face-to-face, which actually worked quite well. And really the idea behind these masterclasses is as much about training our existing clients as it is about spreading some really good news about the financial services industry right now. And certainly don't know about you, but I've certainly heard enough negative press lately that we really want to sort of start to spread some positive news. And I want to do every bit that I can to help you spread that positive news to your clients and to the community of how much really good things that financial advisors are doing. I have the utmost respect for the financial advice industry, and right now there's a pretty difficult time out there for financial advisors. In terms of today's agenda, I really want to go through how Feedsy works, because we do have some people on the line today that are very new to Feedsy or haven't seen Feedsy at all before. We do have a couple of people on the line today too that actually attended last month. So welcome back. You either loved it so much or I didn't explain myself well enough. So welcome back to you. And also we've got some clients here that really want to make the most of Feedsy and to add more personal content. And today really that's what today is about, is how we can not only drive the efficiencies of Feedsy sort of having content there for you and the distribution of it, but how can you add your own content, like client testimonials and also importantly, some case studies so that you can paint that real life picture of what you're doing to help clients. Okay, probably a couple of things. Today's session is actually being recorded, partly so that I can distribute this out to you as a backup resource, and also for anyone that wasn't able to attend today can also download that and listen to it in their own time. Also, I'm not actually positioned in front of a brick wall. It's almost a bit of a green screen, and you might notice a little bit of a ponytail on the back of my neck. But that's certainly not a ponytail. It is actually an image. So I could actually be the Sydney Harbour Bridge this morning, but I've chosen the brick wall. That's a bit of technology for you and a bit of a disclaimer. Okay, just moving on. So we're going to show you how to review Feedsy content, managing email and subscriber activity, really important to keep it up to date, sending your own campaigns, adjusting your story mix whenever you like, and how to share to social media pages, and some key takeaways that you can implement from today. Because really, it doesn't matter whether you're using Feedsy or something like Feedsy. The concept of today is about spreading good news about what you're doing for your clients. And you may have a way of doing that outside of Feedsy right now. But for our current clients, we're going to show you how to do that. Okay. So a little bit about me before we sort of move on. I am passionate about financial services. I've been in it for some time now. And I guess I've seen a lot of change in the industry, but most importantly, I believe in advice. I have a financial advisor myself. I have a mortgage broker. I have a general insurance advisor. I have an accountant. So I believe in advice. I'm passionate about advice. And I know that advice providers are really time poor. So Feedsy does help deliver that time efficiency. And really, I value my advisors. I go to them for advice, and I believe I'm in a better position because of it. But we need to, you don't wake up in the morning thinking that you need advice. You wake up in the morning thinking that you need a new iPhone or a piece of technology. So advice, you actually need to educate people around advice and the benefits of advice. But that's my passion, and part of why we're doing today's workshop is to help you tell people what you're doing and to spread some positive news about it all. So your client stories, here's a couple of examples that I've certainly come across recently. I guess the names have been changed to protect the innocent, but I don't want to just sort of pass this up quickly on this particular slide because I feel it's really important. And this not only makes you feel, well, I think not only makes your clients feel better about what you're doing, I believe spreading good news stories like this does wonders for your own morale as financial advisors, because when you start reading content like this and what your clients are saying about you, it does feel really good. I know when I get a testimonial from a client to say, thanks Feedsy, thanks Steve, this was our best campaign ever. It really changed my business. It's helped us with so many efficiencies. So I can only imagine when stories like this, what they mean to you when you have an even larger impact on your clients' well-being and the advice that they live, today and into the future. But all of this goes a long way to express sincere thanks about the work you do over the years. I won't need to read all of that, but perhaps just take the time and to read that while I'm talking. But it does go into convey passion, knowledge, and a genuine interest in achieving the best for clients. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Every advisor that I've ever spoken to does want to do the best for their clients. And right now we're seeing a lot of negative press talk about the opposite, and it's really not about what you're doing at all. It's, you're providing fantastic service for your clients. Let's get that out there. Let's share that socially, share it via email, and collate a collection of testimonials that really advocate what you're doing. Nobody talks about your business like a current client. Nobody promotes your business like the client does. Whatever you say yourself suffers in significance to what a client says about you. That's the meaning behind your client stories and client testimonials. So that's really the essence of what we're talking about today. The mechanics is how do we get that out to people? How do we get it out to clients by email and social? But the essence is what you're looking at right here, is what your clients are saying about you and spreading these positive stories about what you're doing. Really, really important. So the overall concept of what we're trying to do here is to blog and then multi-share. So however you do that, it might be creating an article once in Feedsy or something like Feedsy, and you distribute that to many. So when you do that and publish that, and we're going to sort of dive in and show you how to do this, but immediately when you hit publish, and we do this for you with many stories, and they appear like these grey ones here in your news feed. When you create your own story, it comes in and sits in with Feedsy stories. And you can drag and drop that so it appears at the top. Because your content is more important than ours. It's personal. It's what your clients can relate to. These other stories are great to share. As much as I like our content, your content is more personal. So your clients are naturally going to like that better. So when we publish to many, it's all on your news feed here, so we can start to share that socially. Or automatically, every month, as you know, your newsletter goes out, and that's a combination of your stories and ours. You can share those via print or social. And importantly, every day, people can subscribe to your email and interact with your website. So the concept here is to blog and then multi-share. So you write the article once, that's the time efficiencies, and then we can send it to many people, many prospects. The Feedsy Center here, this is really a video on their website, and it's an ecosystem. So I'm going to touch on this quickly, but the Feedsy Center, we're going to dive into that shortly, but we've got news and commentary that sort of goes in here from Oliver's Insights, Market Watch, news from Australian Associated Press, anything that we sort of source for you. And we source some of this for you as well. But your optional material, including video, can be created as many times as you like and as much content as you like within your Feedsy Center. And that's where you can blog and multi-share. It can go out to your web apps, it can go out to your monthly newsletter, or it can be pushed out more frequently if you want to. It's also found on your blog, on your website, and you can also do what's called Feedsy Print, so you can create the same articles, printed like a printed newsletter. Everyone on the line has probably a few different options as to what your needs are, but all of that is possible. Okay, so our alert emails to you every week on a Wednesday, we have new content provided for you. So on that Wednesday, or Thursday morning in fact, we alert you to the fact that you've got new stories. And we provide a little link here to say you can review and add your stories then and there. So it's a reminder that you've got new material or new content. And that's a nice little prompt for you to perhaps go in and add your own material whenever you want to. So weekly emails from Feedsy to you, alerting you to the fact that new content has arrived. Every month, and a lot of you will be very familiar with this right now, every month we send you another email saying, hey, your newsletter is about to go out next week. Your automated monthly newsletter is about to go out next week. And we send that out on the last Thursday of every month. And that's probably an example of a client that might have a newsletter that is being sent on a Tuesday of the following week. So you can actually review and add stories again. And you've got a lot of little help tools here, reviewing stories, adding stories, rearranging stories. And some of that we're going to go into shortly, but it's a weekly and monthly prompter of how to do things. So please be aware that it's coming to you. If not, please let me know as well. It's important that if you're not getting these, but please let me know. What I'm going to do now is just click over to our support center. So a lot of these are referring to support. So I'm going to go into our support area and show you basically because it's really important that you know where that is. Okay. So our support area, you may have been in here before, but it's on our website. So you go into feedsy.info and you click on the support. So we just go back to the main website. And the support button is just here. So you can click on the support area. Now everything we cover today is going to be, the help link is going to be in here. So for example, adding a news story, title and text, you can see that right there. Adding a hyperlink, adding images. Also down here, we're going to be covering this a little bit later on as well, is how to change your story mix, for example. So I'm just going to choose one of these now, adding a new story, title and text, because we're going to be doing that shortly. So I click on that, it gives you a nice little animated view of what to do. So you go into your Feedsy Center and you can click on post, add a title, add some content in here. You can cut and paste that from various sources. So it gives you an animated view of the world, but also a description of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you know exactly if you actually like reading how to do it, there's something there for you. If you like seeing how it's done, there's something there for you as well. That's our support area, and I will be frequenting that a little bit more as well. Okay, just moving on a little bit further. I'm about to log in now to our Feedsy Center. So each of you will have your own Feedsy Center that looks a little bit like this. Now when we log in there, I'm just going to bring across another screen because I logged into our demo site. And it looks like this. So when you first log in, you're going to have all of your stories listed like this. Now, if you want to have a look at those, we can very shortly open up the actual website. But before we do that, I'm just going to show you how to rearrange them. So going solo in retirement, if that was perhaps one of your articles, we could just drag and drop that to the top, just by clicking and dragging. Okay, so that's, now if I was to open this, so if I go up here, I'm just going to right click on visit site, because what I'd like to show you is in unison of what the client would see as to what you would see. So I'm going to open the link in a new tab. Now that brings up your news page in a client-friendly version, which is actually sitting on your website. So you can see here, going solo in retirement. We've got the quote, making sense of Medicare and tax obligations. If I flick to the back end, let's make another one. Your small business insurance needs to consider. So we're going to make that number 2. And we're going to unauthorise a video there as well. So we're going to make that number 3. If we go back to here and just refresh that, you'll find that those 2 articles are now 1, 2, and 3. Now, why is that so important? Well, the reason that's so important is you might have got an alert from us saying that your newsletter is about to go out next week. And you want to make a prioritization on the type of content you want to go out. So you might like those 3 stories over and above the other ones that are featured here. So you've made them, that's the first article of your newsletter, second, third, fourth, down to 10. That's by default, but of course if you've let us know that you only want 4 to go out, because that is possible, then we can make assumptions that and changes that just 4 articles would go out in your monthly newsletter. But 10 is the default. So you can really count them there, 1 to 10. Good, so that's how you do that. If we sort of just go a little bit further, I'm going to show you, before we do the story mix, of how to add some content. So as we saw in our little demo on our support tools, we're going to go add new. When we go add new, it's come up like that little example, like those little animated GIFs, and we can put in a title and also the content here. So I've got some articles that I'd like to copy in, and they might be, first of all, a case study. So I'm going to go and open up a Word document. Now I've got a Word document here where I've got all these saved, and I'm going to just copy all of those here, click on copy, and then click on paste. And you can see that they've all come over. Now I want to make that look a little bit pretty, so I'm going to put here, perhaps the article title might be, some case studies to consider. What I would also like to do is put some pictures in here. So I'm going to put in various areas. Maybe I've got a picture of Jane and Terry, and I want that picture to sit here. So I'm going to go and click on Add Media. Okay. When I go and click on Add Media, it's going to ask me to upload some files. Now, all of these pictures that are in here are actually licensed to the original article. So I'm going to click on Upload a picture and drag in a couple here. Basically, I'm going to click and drag it from another location. I might as well show you what I'm doing here. So I've got that on my desktop, and they're just some pictures, and I'm just going to drag that picture in. I could actually do something different and go select files if I want to, and go and find them on my computer, but I find it easy just to drag and drop. Now you can see here that this image is really big. It's 3 megabytes. Now you might think, okay, what's a megabyte? What does that all mean? But ideally, your image size should be 640 wide. The reason being is when you go and open an email, it takes a long time to open, just because of internet speeds, etc. But the good thing is you don't actually have to be a graphic designer and go into Photoshop and those sort of things to make that file smaller. You just go and edit the image, and there's some instructions on this on their website, but if you just made that 640, it already changes that dimension. Just click on Scale and go back, and then insert into post. But see how it's made it quite a large file into something very small. And that means that the picture quality hasn't suffered, and your website and your email will open really quickly. So it's important for a user experience. Then I go Insert, and you can see that picture's now appeared here. If I go down a little bit, I can do another picture. So I'm going to sort of go Add Media again, Upload Files, and I'm going to go to my pictures again, which is here. Lost it for a moment, and pick that small business owner. So I'm just going to drag that across. something to remember in terms of a naming convention as well. All the pictures that you upload into Feedsy, you might call your business name, because you can actually search on them here. If you put in your business name XYZ Financial Services or just XYZ, all of your images that are licensed to you that you've purchased over the time and that you've taken are going to all appear here, very easy for using over and over in future publications. So again, I'm just going to go into edit the image. And of course, by having them uploaded previously, they're all going to be the right size. So you won't actually have to do what I'm doing right now. The scale, click on back, and then insert into post. And now I've got the small business owner who's now got some, so it's inserted it exactly where I've wanted to put it. Now, there's one other thing I just want to show you here, a featured image. So a featured image is something that overrides every other image on the page. So you might have some images within this article, but you want to have an overarching image that might say case studies, for example. So you can go set featured image, and then you can upload it in the same way. For the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to put that one there, just for the speed of going through this today. Set featured image. And now my article is created. So what I'm going to do is now categorize it. I've got everything I need there. I'm going to call it a blog because it's something I've created myself. If it's not in here, you can actually add a new category and call it something completely different. All the Feedsy articles are going to be already categorized for you, but the ones that you create might just be called blog. Okay, so I'll create a video separately, but just keep it standard for any text. Now, as we scroll through here, I can preview it, but I'm just going to publish it immediately. So I'm going to go publish. Now that has done nothing more than put this on my website, on my blog. It hasn't emailed it to anyone. It's just created the article for you, and we can see that here now. If I refresh it. So case studies to consider. So you can see here the featured image has overpowered or overwritten all the other articles. I'll go into here and I can see the article all sitting here now. And I can then share that socially if I wish. I'll click on the social media icon and share it via a post in LinkedIn. I can share it on Facebook. I can write something in here, and I can share that person. That's my personal page, but I can actually share it on a page that I manage, and that might just happen to be Feedsy. So you can actually share it on your company page if you wish. And if I wanted to tag a business, I could do @Feedsy. The @ is the address. So I can do tagging a business, or even tagging an individual. And that will alert them to the fact that I actually quoted them in the article. It's quite powerful. If you use a hashtag, it basically bookmarks great advice. So anyone that's ever done an article or published an article about advice or financial advisors, it's a hashtag. It's like a bookmark. So your article will be bookmarked with those other articles. That's quite powerful as well. That's just a couple of really quick social media tips on getting content out there as a result of just creating your own story. Okay, so if we go back to our stories now, I've actually created the case study, which is good, but why don't we create a video as well, perhaps? So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to put, because it's a video, I'm really keen to sort of make that really clear to people. So I'm just going to do something like this and just put video. And just call it an update from Steve. I've got a video that I've done previously. Now this just sits on YouTube, and I guess uploading it to YouTube is perhaps a different training, which we might be able to sort of do next time. So if that's what you'd like to do next time, please, on the feedback that you might get the opportunity to provide after this webinar, leave some ideas like that, because we're always looking for ideas to give you. But I'm going to copy and paste that YouTube clip in, and I've now got a video update introducing these stories for this particular week. So all I've done is copied and paste the YouTube clip, and I'm going down here. I'm going to just tick the video category. I'm going to choose the video format, and then I'm going to publish. Okay, and if we go and have a look at what our screen looks like now in terms of latest news, we're going to have on here a video update, some case studies to consider. Now the nice thing is that video actually plays within this website instead of taking you to YouTube.
Hi, Steve here. I hope you're well and you enjoy this week's news article.
Now you become the newsreader in this instance. If you've got nothing else to say, why not just introduce the week's news and say, hey, we've got this week, we've got some case studies to consider. We've also got a great article on going solo in retirement. So if my newsletter was going out tomorrow, that would be the first article, second, third, fourth. So my video now quite interactively introduces the week's or the month's news for that article. So, you know, you can actually put away the written intro and do more of a video style one. So hopefully that sort of helps you in that regard. We've had a couple of questions in relation to, adding content from another source. So how do you copy and paste something? So I'd just like to show you that now. As you know, every week we actually include Oliver's Insights and Market Watch for those that have requested it. Now, the way I do that is quite easy, and I'd just like to show you what we do. So I actually go into, and I know Shane Oliver personally, and I know some of you on this call also do, because of my association with AMP in the past. But I go into Oliver's Insights, into AMP Capital, and Shane's actually given his permission for me to do this. So you've got to be careful of copyright as well. But I screen capture that as the image, and also I copy this section as the title. So if I have a look at here, I might just copy that, Dr. Shane Oliver. So I'm going to copy that, and I'll just take that back for a moment. So I'm going to go add a new story. So I'm sort of juggling a couple of screens here, so just bear with me. Now it's really important to, now I've just pasted that in straight away like that, and it's come in with those fonts. If we make it back to paragraph, that's how you can sort of change the font size a little bit. And we can also bold that to make, and also the source, I like having something fairly standard with all the articles that I've done. So I'm just putting in brackets, the source of Shane's title and where he works. And I can also italicize that as well. I can get rid of that double return if I go Shift and Enter, or I can just do Enter to make it big. So you can just sort of do all the tricks like that. Very similar to a word processor. I'm going back to the article now, and I'm going to copy and paste all of these graphs and everything. So sometimes it starts with a graph, which can be a little bit tricky to get your cursor in there to copy that. So I'm going to start from the bottom where there's no graph. So right at the bottom you can see it all. And I'm going to grab that one. You can see how I'm just copying with the mouse. I'm going to right click and go copy. If I get rid of that article, and paste it into here. Okay, you'll see everything has come across, and it looks like the graphs haven't, but they have. It's just the way that it's been formatted, and we can prove that by previewing it. Now, there's one thing that I would also do here. On the AMP Capital website, there's a disclaimer. So I would very importantly, paste that in below here as well. So at the moment, in the interest of time, I'm just going to leave that out. But we are on a demo site. So the article title for this one is Market Update 11 October 2019. I'm really keen to stay consistent with what Shane has done. So I'm going to set a featured image like we looked at before. And I've got that on my desktop here. So once again, here we go, upload files. And I'm going to drag that screen capture in that I took before. It's pretty good. It's pretty small anyway, so I'm just going to go set featured image. And I've now got the AMP Capital and Market Watch in here. I can say I've put a finance tag on it, and I'm now going to publish. So that's how I've copied and pasted now from a different source. So we've done 3 articles now. If I go back to stories, we've done the market update, we've done the video update, and some case studies to consider. But because this video is personal, I'm going to make that my #1 article. If I go back to our blog, I'm just going to refresh it and show you what we've done. So we've got the video, the market update, and the case studies. So all of that didn't really take too much time. We're just copying and pasting and things like that, and we've made it all look quite nice. And you can see here that all the graphs have come across as they were intended, and all the formatting. And it's all mobile optimized. So it'd be great for iPhones, tablets, and all of those different devices. Okay, so we've got all of our content now sitting in here. So how are we going to get that out? We've showed you a little bit of how to do that via social. How are we going to get that out via email? So really what I'm keen now is to show you how to build a campaign. We've got 25 minutes left, and that's what we're going to cover now, is sending an email and also manage subscriber activity. So I want to jump across to the dashboard. So this is really where our stories live. I'm going to jump across to the dashboard. When I go to dashboard, I go to the headquarters, the Feedsy headquarters, and here's where you can drive newsletters, open clicks, and etc., and get a really quick snapshot of what your subscriber base looks like. Obviously, this is a demo site. It hasn't got many people on here. I'm going to go to the headquarters. And we've got 3 main areas here. We've got where your clients are. We've got the automation, which is our monthly newsletter, and also campaigns, which is the one that you create manually yourself. Now, with subscriber activity, so before you send an email, we might like to check how healthy our subscribers are. So I'm going to do that first. That's what we really do before you actually send out the newsletter. In here, you'll see you've got a Feedsy list. If you've got a referral ecosystem, you'll also have all your referrals that have come through. But that's probably another topic to talk about. Feedsy list, you click on that, and you've got all your clients sitting in here. Now, if you want to add new clients, I've got there's a couple of ways of doing that. You can either do that one at a time, or you can do that in bulk. So if I was going to go add new subscribers, clicking on here, I can just put in the person's email address and their first name and surname, and quite easily they'll just be added one at a time. But if I've got a big client management system like I'm using Coin or that sort of CRM where you do all your financial planning software, we want to do it in bulk. So what I'm going to do is something we prepared earlier. I'm going to open up an Excel spreadsheet. And your Excel spreadsheet might look a little bit like this. You might have a whole lot of data here. Now, all of this data we don't actually need, but it might come across from your CRM just because of everything you keep on your clients. But all we really need is the name, email address, and potentially birthday if you've got Feedsy segments. But I'm just going to put in here, Mary, Mary Smith. It might be Mary at okay, now I'm going to save that. That's actually a comma separated file, which is a CSV file. It's the same as Excel, really. So if you export from your data, from your client system, you might actually have a choice of sending it to Excel or a CSV file. It's just a comma separated file. It doesn't matter which one it is. Feedsy will recognize all of those. So if you hear a comma separated file or a CSV file, that's what it is. It's basically Excel. I know there's a couple of Excel gurus on the line as well, so yeah, I'm sure you've heard of that. But here is the Excel spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do now is just close that down, and I'm going to drag that list in. So again, it's here, it's on my computer, and I'm going to drag it into here. So drag it in. Now, it's actually seen on here that, and it recognises some of the material. So we've got here full name, Gavin Smith, Gary Close, John. We've got the email addresses come up. We've got the date of birth, and it's found other data here that we don't actually need to bring in. So you either don't do that, or we can sort of bring it in if we're actually using it in here. But you don't need to do it. You can just say skip, and we're bringing in email address and full name. So we can go finish adding subscribers. Now what it will tell us is that a lot of information has not changed. And that's really good that it does that, because the last thing you want to do is have duplicates in the system. So you can see here that only 3 subscribers were added, and Mary Smith being one of them. But all of these people were already here. They're already on our database. Unchanged. So only 3 people were added. So if we go and return to our list, we can see that Mary Smith, who we added, Steve Holiday was added, and Caroline was added. They're the 3 new people. So right now our list is completely up to date. You can also, from here, export subscribers. So if you want to export them out to double check, you can just click on export. So it's really healthy to know how to do that. So, you might want to just click on export. You want to export out active, bounced, unsubscribed, and that sort of thing. They can all be exported out to a CSV file or whatever you like, and you can choose what to export out. When you go back to lists and subscribers, the other thing to keep a watch out for is how many people might have, you've got active here, but how many people are in the unsubscribed area or bounced. If they're bouncing, it's the ideal opportunity to go and correct them. So with that, we can go and click on, say, Steve Holiday here, and we can see how frequently he is reading the emails and how active he is. And we can also edit Steve's email address to find out why it's bouncing if you now know what it is, and change where they might be residing. So if he was in unsubscribed and he's given approval to be active again, we can make him active. And just go click on save. That's how you can edit your subscriber list and basically keep it healthy. Okay, so let's drive a campaign now that we've sort of talked about how to keep your email list a little bit healthier. Before I do, I'll just have a look at automation now. So all the automated campaign, this is going to look a little bit more confusing than yours, mainly because it's a demo site, but you'll have something like this, a monthly expert, or monthly in your business name, and it will show you the opens and click rates of all of your clients. And again, this is unhealthy because it's been stopped and it only goes to a few people. but it will show you the most read articles over every month. The green is the open rates, and the blue is people that actually physically click on your article and physically read the story. That's the difference between open and click. And the average in financial services, interestingly enough, is a 20% open rate and a 2% click. And with Feedsy, fortunately, it's a lot higher than that. And we had an article recently on that, but most of our clients are getting between 40, 50 and 60% open rates and 10, 15, 20% click rates. So, way above the average. So campaigns is where you send out your newsletter if you're doing it manually. The automation just takes care of itself. So if you've actually created stories that we've just done and they're in the list there at the top, Feedsy will automatically send that newsletter out. So you don't need to do anything more. It's all done. What I'm about to show you now is how to drive out some personal communication, because we've actually created a video. We've created a video, we've created a Market Watch article, and we've created some case studies. So I really want to push that out now, and I can't wait for the Feedsy newsletter to go out perhaps in a few weeks' time. So I'm going to go into the plain text version. The Feedsy Flash template is really the same as your monthly email, and I can sort of show you what that looks like in here. But plain text just has a few more options and looks a little bit more customized. So we're going to do that. So the campaigns, we've got templates here, and with Feedsy we've given you 2 templates, and to replicate them you just click on the little plus button here. So I'm going to duplicate that draft, and when I do that it comes up with the template name, but it's a copy now. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to start to edit it. I'm going to go in here and give it something a little bit more sexy than plain text copy. I'm going to put expert now this first one is what you call the campaign, so something that you might remember, but that might actually be exactly the same as what you do and want your clients to read. So the one down here is a subject line is what your clients will see in their inbox, and that's for you. That's really your filing system or your naming convention. Okay, now the team of expert professionals, this will be by default, and you probably don't have to change this. So you can just put whatever email you like here that it's from, but it might be team at XYZ, it might be team at Feedsy, or Gavin or Steve from Feedsy. So here, step 1 is done. You just go, I'm done, return to snapshot. So if really step 1 is done, there's really 3 steps in terms of sending a manual campaign. Step 2 is all about the content. So we're going to say, okay, I'm going to go and edit the content now. Now, the text here, we can just say, I'm going to click on edit there, and keeping in the loop is really important to us. That's why you're soon receiving our email newsletter. But I might put in something here about case studies. But I won't change that too much. I think it's probably self-explanatory what that is. I'll put some case studies to consider. Now, if I want to link that to anywhere, I can just go highlight that text and insert a link. So if someone clicks on that, they can actually go directly to that story we just created. That story sits on our news page already. You can use that URL that we've created. If I want to send someone to YouTube, I can. If I want to send someone to Facebook, I can. It's just highlighting it and linking. Likewise, you can actually use the bolding things in here. You can change things, change the color in here, all those sorts of things. So again, it's a bit of a word processor and all of that. So then you can go save, and we've actually changed now the intro message. We can actually have a picture here or a video, but I'm going to choose to say take that picture out possibly. I can remove the link, remove the image, or add a different picture. So I'm going to remove the image and save. Because what I really want to do is include the 3 articles now. Those 3 articles I've just created, I want those in here. And there's 3 different ways of actually doing that. So if I go load posts, we've got all of the content we've just done, a video from Steve, a market update from Steve. We can see them there as links. that's just one option of how we can send the content of those stories out. It's probably the less exciting way to do it, but they are links of the story titles. So we can just untick those because we don't want to do it that way in this instance. The second way is really the same way as what, oops, went to the same thing. Untick. The second way, if we go down to here, I'm going to load posts, is the same way as what your normal newsletter would look like. It's the big thumbnail images. And you can see all of the articles that we've just created all sitting there now because it's actually looking to where we created them for the content. Now we can actually go and untick those, or we might just have a video update from Steve as the large image. And done. I've got a second way or a third way of doing it as well. We go manage posts, and we can pick articles with a small image and like a little pretext here. And case studies to consider and going solo in retirement. So click on done, and basically our newsletter is now created. So we can just click on preview, and that's what it looks like. I'm actually reading the news. We've got the market update in there, the case studies, some testimonials you might have, and things like that. So you go, I'm done. Now step 3 is all that there is to do, and that's who do you want it to go to. So we've actually just updated our list. So I'm going to define recipients, and there's my list. 21 people. Go next, and that's all you need to do. So now it's going to 21. I can send that straight away, or I can send myself a test, which is normally recommended. So I'm going to send myself a test, and that'll pop over into my email inbox shortly. And that's how you send a campaign, which is pretty cool. So I'll go back to my inbox. Just waiting for it to come through. All right. Now, is there any questions at the moment? I can see any questions from you? Or we're just waiting for that email to come through? And here's the preview of the email that you can see. Okay, let's have a look if any questions came through. I can't just see any at the minute. We'll all look happy. All right, now story mix. If you don't like the current stories that are coming through, it's very easy to update those. I've got about 10 minutes to go, so I'm sort of going to go through the story mix and changes. So different times you might like more finance content or more lifestyle or more stock market commentary or anything like that. So what you do is you go into our support area. I'll just sort of bring that up again. So I've got the Feedsy website, and you click on support here. And you go scroll down, and you'll see story mix. When you click on that, you basically come up with who you are, what's your business name, email address, and things like that. And that, in essence, will tell us who you are and go through a series of screens like we're looking at on screen here now. So you've got your business name. Would you like to update your story mix? Would you like the inspirational quotes or memes that we send you? Would you like to update? And you've got all the, whether you're light, you're going to get one story, or if you've got the full Feedsy service, you've got 10 stories. And we've got the green ones that might be currently selected. You can untick and retick categories, so we can update all of that story mix for you. We've got some legal content coming through now. We've got obviously tax, retirement and super, etc. So I've got plenty of content there for you to utilise and to email your clients with. Well, hopefully that does help you. Now, Louisa, hopefully we've answered your question regarding some changing some the font. All right, so just moving email and newsletters. So the whole idea of email and newsletters is keep your brand in front of existing and prospective clients, and it really does build credibility, I believe, in terms of those ongoing touch points and promoting your service proposition and really promoting all the good that you do for clients. Quite often we get feedback from advisors that their clients often reply to their Feedsy email about something completely unrelated to the email, but because they made that touch point, it's an easy way of getting in touch with the business. It does demonstrate reliability because you're sending that monthly newsletter out very regular. It does attract people to your website, increases clicks and traffic to your website. And obviously sharing is really cool as well. If you start sharing things socially, you're going to sort of start to get people talking about you because you're the source of content. We've spoken about measuring as well because you can actually measure the traffic and measure the readership. But most importantly, just number 8, communicate what you do for clients. I can't stress that enough because that's what today, in essence, is about. And really, I would love to help if you're having any problems at all in doing it. If you've got a list of testimonials or case studies on your website now, I'm not sure how to get them off, and want to drive a campaign, please get in touch with me and do it because as a result of the last webinar, we had some clients that reached out and I did help, and I felt I was doing my little bit of helping spreading some good news about what you're doing for your clients, because financial advice in this country is needed, and the industry is going through a really tough time, and I believe we need to share those good news stories now more than ever. So if I can help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Now, just in terms of some original content ideas, helping your clients. We've sort of spoken about some case studies, testimonials, impact scenarios, all of that sort of thing. Federal budgets. We have articles about that, but you might have your own view on it. Legislation changes, and this is a really important one too. If your clients come to you or you get feedback at any time about pain points, write about that. If people sort of say, seeking advice is hard, and write about that. Or I didn't come to see you initially because I didn't have enough money. Well, that's a bit of a myth, write about that. So that's really important, and it might be the source of the way you help clients, is to write about pain points and how you solve them and maybe dispel some of the myths. If you're involved in some charity and goodwill, write about what your team is doing. If you're involved about ethical investing and you want to educate people about that, there's some, if you're really passionate about why you give advice, that's a great reason to have some original content. Your team, if you've got a new staff person, your clients will be interested. A new paraplanner, a day in the life of. Meet Jim, our paraplanner, he does X. Meet Mary, she's the person that you see when you first come into the office here. She makes a cup of coffee. She knows people. She talks to people. She's got that. So all of those sort of things, your team are really important. The fact that you go to PD days and you actually invest in education. A lot of you are doing education and exams right now. Start sharing that you passed those exams and you're doing really well. People expect that you are a professional, and I think the industry needs to know that you're going a long way to actually further develop your skills and maintain your skills. So I guess some key takeaways today. It's certainly to update your client list. Do a fresh upload into Feedsy from your CRM, and simply by doing that, export and then importing it as a fresh Excel list. Don't be afraid of duplicates. That won't happen. If you want us to do it for you, there's a spot on our website as well where you can sort of send your client list to us, and we'll upload it for you. So don't be afraid to do it. one thing's for sure is that you can never have a duplicate email address within Feedsy. And anything that's in there in terms of unsubscribes will be recognised. If that person is unsubscribed in Feedsy, they'll be quarantined. So that you don't have to be afraid of that as well. Review bounced emails. So just double check those bounced ones and see if you can update those. Certainly create some case studies and add some client testimonials. And probably just on that, I would like to demonstrate what we've been doing. So I'll probably just leave you with that. On our Feedsy website, we have got, bring it across, testimonials. Now, our testimonials are basically all articles, like your news page, but we've actually gone in there and done exactly what I showed you today. So we've actually just got some branding from their website, and we're writing about what that particular professional said about our business. You know, Feedsy works. You know, the team goes beyond what they deliver, what they promise. You know, monthly emails keep the practice front of mind. So we extract a quote from there, we include their logo and things like that. So these are all, you know, businesses that we help, financial planning businesses that we help, and no one talks about what we do better than some current clients and advocates. And I'd like to, you know, for you to use Feedsy to make these testimonials live and well on your website. But importantly, they're all in here for you to use via email and to share socially whenever you like. So this is sort of Feedsy practicing what we're preaching, I guess, to show you how we're using our own technology and our own communication solutions to put this type of content on here. And we've made a little menu item called testimonials about that. So if I went into this one here, this ANZ mobile lending, we've got a quote from Carl, and I can very easily now share that socially about what Carl has said about our business. So pretty powerful stuff. So hopefully that has helped just demonstrate that, and it makes a really, really nice archive of all of your articles and testimonials. So I'll get rid of that one. Start sharing content socially. Well, we've done sort of how you can do that quickly, you know, via your news page. It's as simple as clicking on those social media icons. So start sharing your personal content socially, and even start engaging with some of our content if you haven't got a lot of your own content. But you know, start with a content platform that you know, just one of them. Don't worry about being a master of all. If you know, Facebook's a pretty good place to start. There's 25 million people in Australia, I think now, and probably 21 Facebook users, 21 million Facebook users. Good place to start. But certainly reach out to me personally on my details, or even email support at Feedsy whenever you have got a question or need any help. But please, reach out. I'd love to help you. Send out some personal testimonials or case studies, and do my little bit to spread some good news about what you're doing, and just create that little ripple effect, I guess, about advisors helping clients. That's what it is all about, and what we need to do to make advisors feel good about what they do, but also make clients feel good about the advice industry. So that's all I've got for now. There will be a recording of this webinar coming out to you, and also a feedback questionnaire. Very quick. It takes about under 30 seconds, I reckon, to do that. About 7 questions, I believe, from memory. So if you've got any other content that you would like to learn about, or an more in-depth view of Feedsy, or how to do something completely different, let us know, and we'll deliver another webinar like this, another masterclass where we're trying to add value to helping you use Feedsy better, essentially. That's all from me today. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and getting pretty close to Christmas now. I'm sure you're firing up and trying to get as much done between now and the end of the year with everything else you're doing with your study commitments. So keep smiling, and I believe in what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and I love the advice industry, and hopefully you're still really enjoying what you're doing as well. We'll see some light at the end of the tunnel. All right, over and out for me now, and thank you once again for attending. I look forward to having a chat when the time's right. Okay, bye for now.